Welcome back, boys and girls. This is episode 54.
That's awesome that we're at the point where we're starting to forget what
I've pretty much forgotten. Like, I knew 52, but yeah, we're at episode 54, your Hump Day podcast, 8bit Bourbon, hosted by, as always, Makers. As you can see if you're watching in the video,
we got the pretty scarf.
We have the pretty scarf, which you did start the video, right?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. It's very nice. We are also sponsored by Red Bull, which we already drank because we recorded this episode in reverse order.
Yeah.
We have a very special guest today.
You guys are going to love it.
It is one of the best podcasts we've ever done.
One of the best podcasts ever.
One of the best podcasts that's ever been done.
Yeah.
Erick Feiling came on. He is an ex-developer for EA, the sports division, and he's a podcaster.
He's a comedian.
He's just a generally hilarious guy, and we're very excited for you guys to get to that part because we've actually already recorded it because we did it in reverse.
We planned to record a half an hour with him. We went 58 minutes.
Yeah, so that should give you an idea.
It's not the normal 8bit Bourbon podcast, so you guys are gonna enjoy it.
But let's get into a couple things. First of all, I want to talk about my Taco Bell visit.
Okay,
go. Which is our other official sponsor, Taco Bell. So we went to Taco Bell.
Well, maybe not after this.
Yeah, true. We picked up ginger beer Krabbies because we wanted to make the Krabby. What was it called?
Bourbon?
I thought they had like a name for
beer?
it. I don't know. But it's bourbon and ginger beer. It's amazing. So we went there, and then we went to Taco Bell. That's our drink of the week. Just want to get that in there.
Yeah, and if you get Krabbies, get the lime.
Yeah, the orange
lemon lime one. It's really good.
Yeah, the orange one didn't do it.
The original recipe calls for like lime slices.
Mm-hmm.
You just bypass it.
It's just the easy way to do it.
It's really fucking good.
But we went to Taco Bell, and the line was ridiculous. And they're our official sponsor, though, so we figured we had to do it.
We gotta support them if they're gonna sponsor us.
Absolutely. So I walk in. I gotta recollect my thoughts here. So I walk in. It's one of those Taco Bells that's long and narrow, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So when you walk in the door, the counter's directly to your right, and the line basically forms to your left.
Yeah.
So obviously when you walk in, you take a left and get in the back of the line, right? Pretty simple stuff. Anybody self-aware knows that. So the first thing that happens is this guy walks in, and I just know people, I could just tell his whole body language. He walks in, he stops at the doorway, and he's looking at me, from a foot away from me. And he's looking at me, he's looking at the counter. He's looking at me, he's looking at the counter. And there's two people behind me.
Yeah. Did he go for it?
He waits. He waits there for 5 minutes. I'll get back to what was going on at the counter because that's an amazing part of the story too. But he waits for 5 minutes, not 5 minutes, 2-3 minutes right there, just standing in the doorway basically. And then as soon as the person in front of me was done and walked away, he took a step there, looked at me, looked back, and he goes, you can go. And I went, I swear to God, I go to him, yeah, I know, I was here first. And I walked right by him. But I was like, what the fuck? You try to cut 3 people. I don't, it boggles my mind that people could be so, why would I let you go first? We think this is just a free-for-all that we just fight for a position? I was here first, of course.
People are fucking stupid.
It was amazing. It was and it wasn't I was out of position. I was directly in a straight line of people, and he just was
well, he was probably hoping the fact that people saw him let you go, so he was just gonna sneak in behind you.
Yeah, maybe, but he was trying to get in front of me. You could just tell, he was about to go, and I was like, no, fuck. I would have grabbed this little shit. He was 50 years old. He was
that the douchebag that went around the? Was he in the car in front of us? He went around the drive-through lane and got stuck on the side, and then pulled in the park spot.
Might have been. He probably thought, well, I beat you to the Taco Bell driveway, so.
Although I can't really say people are douchebags in the parking lot because I did park in a no parking spot.
That's true.
Between the two handicap spots.
Yeah, but that doesn't bother anybody.
But the car to the right of me was in a handicap spot, and there was no visible handicap sign. So
right. Okay, so
I wasn't the biggest douche.
So while this is going on, okay, this guy's staring at me. I can just see he's freaking me out. I can see him looking at me, looking at the counter. It's I'm so annoyed. The two guys that are ordering at the counter that I'm going to go to, the person on the left goes to the left register. There's two guys in front of me. They go to the right register. This is amazing. They're adult guys, in their 30s or 40s. They're both, one guy's on their cell phone with the cell phone to his head. Yeah. The other one's on speakerphone, holding it in front of his face, which is one of my fucking pet peeves. He's like screaming into it and putting it to his ear. I'm like, why don't you just talk into it so you can hear the person?
It's like back in the day with those fucking
Next telephones, yeah. But you know what the best part was? They're both on the phone ordering stuff for other people separately, but the same order. So the lady's going like, wait, what? No, Crunchwrap Supreme. Oh, wait, what? A burrito? Oh, the other guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, I want a gordita crunch. And the lady's like, I don't know what's going on. They were up there for 5 minutes, probably. It was unbelievable.
How great would it be if you were like Superman or something and you just grabbed that phone and slammed it to the ground? Or if you just had the balls to do it.
I was so, like, if these guys weren't so big.
And I wasn't such a pussy.
It was like, just think about one person on their speakerphone going, wait, I'm sorry, what? And the lady's talking to him, oh, I want gordita crunch. It was two guys on their cell phones ordering for other people, having separate conversations with separate people. I'm like, where the fuck are you guys coming from? You're obviously like, why are you here together if you're ordering for separate people? Go to the register separately.
Yeah.
So then the guy on the left, who's on the phone, not on the speakerphone, gets in a fight with the person he's talking to, starts yelling, and after they're done with their order, and I do my order, and I go over to the left, I just hear him go, if you're gonna talk to me like that, that's the end of this conversation. Hangs up the phone, like everyone's just like looking at him like, what the fuck? So then obviously the guy that was with him,
shoulder, be like, dude, you're in a public place.
I know, exactly. Self-awareness is not something that's taught apparently these days. But then he's out in the parking lot talking to this girl again, of course, because he called her back. While his buddy's eating by himself in the corner. Mm-hmm. But before the buddy went to eat in the corner, the guy who was on the speakerphone, the girl, he was standing right next to the delivery, bench, and the lady's going, Mark, order for Mark, order for Mark, order for Mark. Order for Mark. He is 1 foot away from her, and eventually, but he's on his fucking phone, probably who knows doing what. And then eventually he goes up and goes, "Oh, that's me." Like calm as shit, and walks back, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm losing my shit." And then the guy who was trying to cut the line, he's behind me with the sauces. I'm standing next to the sauces. There's not much room in there. He's going through, and he takes like a fistful of fire sauce. There's not much left. He takes a fistful of fire sauce. Then he takes a fistful of hot sauce. And then he goes back to the fire sauce like 7 times and takes one packet. He just keeps going. And eventually I went and just looked away. I was like, am I in the Twilight Zone? And then the clincher was, I'm texting you, I'm going, you were like, the drive-thru might have been faster. I was like, I think we were fucked no matter what. And I go, but just as I wrote that, the guy goes, Tamika, order for Tamika. It was really Tamika. She had 2 Taco 12 packs and a bag of other assortments that took like.
Christ.
I could see the guy packing the 12 pack, and I'm thinking to myself, because we got 1 Taco 12 pack for the 2 of us. I'm thinking to myself, why is this taking so long? It's only 12 tacos. It's not that big of a deal. And then I realized it was 2 Taco 12 packs plus like 6 other tacos. So then she walks out, and I was just like, and it's 400 degrees in there. It was so fucking hot. I couldn't even. And I had my coat on, whatever. So that was an amazing Taco Bell experience. I mean, how amazing is like all that stuff happening at the same time? I'm not even getting into some of the people that were there. There was a kid that dumped a 64-ounce or a 32-ounce Mountain Dew all over the floor. But he's a kid. He didn't mean to.
He doesn't need a 32-ounce Mountain Dew.
There was 2 humongous ladies screaming over my head about what sauces they want while the other one was filling up sodas. It was something else.
I made out like bandit weight in the car.
I don't think so. It was amazing, I gotta say.
No, because I probably would have said something.
I don't think.
No, to you.
Oh yeah.
Loudly.
Probably yeah. It was. I gotta tell you.
I give dirty looks. You give dirty looks.
Oh,
too.
I mean, I said something to the one guy, and I definitely, when he was taking this fire sauce for the 6th time, I was like, "What is going?" I don't know why it annoyed me so much, but I was like, I looked at him like, I know if you're listening to the podcast on iTunes or something, you can't. I looked over my shoulder with a very dirty look
and watch the video.
That's also true. And you're right. I gotta put my Halo highlight reels on there.
Yes.
Especially the first one, which is much better. But that brings us to the next topic, which is
we got an Elgato HD60, so we're gonna start making legit videos of games.
We're gonna really, if you guys follow us, we obviously dabble into the video thing now. We have the video podcast, but we're gonna try to do legitimate, Halo montages, Halo introduction videos,
1080p videos,
1080p 60 frames a second, which YouTube can now support, which is sweet.
So
and we're gonna do game reviews, whatever. It's gonna be fun.
It'll probably take us a couple weeks to get something going.
Yeah, we'll put up a few things. They're probably gonna suck, but we're gonna learn as we go and mess around.
That's something to look forward to for the next year.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. We're gonna try to do like Halo, like our top 10 kills. And if you guys have a kill, send it to us. Upload it to.
Yeah, we'll throw your name on it,
and we'll try to figure stuff out. We'll have a not top 10.
Like, yeah, if you guys have any really bad plays, please, please record them.
Yourself or betraying your teammates.
The best thing that ever happened on the Xbox is Xbox Record That. I think it is really amazing because I can't tell you how many plays that I had in Halo 2 that were so much better than anything I've done in this, and I was never able to record them.
I had a hilarious one last night when we were playing SWAT. It was like when you had to go shovel quick, and me and Chad were playing. I came up behind the guy. I shot him in the back of the head, and I just stepped back because I killed him, and I was reloading. And as I stepped back, this guy comes flying across and missed the melee, and I went boop, and got him for the double kill. If I would have stood, it was
like a drunk guy tripping.
Yeah, he just went swinging. You can see his arm up in the air, and he couldn't stop at that point, so I just tapped him.
That's awesome.
It was really funny.
That's why that's the thing too. It's we want to get we're not trying to put together the best Halo montage. We got full-time jobs. We're not gonna be able to do that anymore. But we want to just put together just entertaining stuff. That's why that ghost play. It's not the best play ever, but it's hilarious, right? It's a triple kill and whatever.
That's it for us.
That's pretty much it. So, I don't know if this segue is gonna suck because we recorded the Erick interview already.
Yeah, I think we're fine. It's the first time trying it this way.
But if it does, suck it.
Yeah, and stick around and listen to the whole thing because Erick was hilarious.
Yeah, it gets the best part is the last 15 minutes. Yes. So, listen to it. I'm gonna totally introduce this again in 5 seconds because I don't remember what I said. But we have Erick. He used to work at EA Sports. He does a whole bunch of stuff, and
he's really funny.
Yeah. So enjoy
the interview. Bye, guys.
All right, now we have special guest today. We have Erick Feiling. Welcome to the show, Erick.
Welcome, Erick.
That's awesome sauce. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm actually a big fan. So it's pretty cool to see something outside of the major websites and stuff, the GameStops and IGNs and everything, and the joysticks of the world. So when I first stumbled upon you guys, just because I'm an avid gamer, as soon as I heard about you guys, this is gonna be awesome. So it's good to get you guys' take on things. It gave me a different perspective on stuff. So it's cool. So thanks for having me on.
No, thanks a lot. We actually have with us a gaming insider because Erick used to work.
Or a scapegoat.
Right. Erick used to work at EA Sports, right? The sports division.
Yes, sir. That is actually correct. I worked at EA in 2007, and I think as of last year. Well, actually. No, it was last year. It was in 2013. So
why don't you tell us a little bit about what your role was there, what what games you worked on, or just give us a little overview before we start on NHL for you leaving out all of our features.
Okay, so definitely I want to give you a recap on this because, I had two different experiences at EA in 2007. It was a lot harsher because I worked on Madden. And they really had really tight deadlines. It's right when they were switching over to the PS3 and Xbox 360. So they wasn't quite ready with the hardware yet. Mm-hmm. So I worked really long hours, crazy hours, and everything. I think my hours ranged up to 75 hours a week or something like that. So
goodness,
damn. Not 75 hours. Geez. No, it was pretty high. I would think 60. Probably, I would give or take. So that was the first time around. So the second time around, I got talked into it again, and I worked on NCAA. Was it 14? I think that's what I have a plaque of at my desk. And that right there was a lot smoother ride for me. I think I've only had to work 55 hours usually when they got it into the alpha phase of the games and stuff. They go through different phases. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty. The second time was a lot more fun. They have a cafe there. You can order food. They order out food and stuff like that as well. They know that you're working 12-hour, 13-hour days sometimes, but they make the most of it.
Try to make it comfortable for you.
Yeah, and I was a UI UX developer, so I worked on a lot of the UI screens and stuff. So a lot of
that's interesting.
Yeah, the training modes, the option screens, the auction house, they have cart modes and everything, and I guess in the game I worked on, so there was a card play mode. Mm-hmm. I think it was Ultimate Edition or Ultimate something. I can't really remember, but they pretty much took from FIFA and other games and then just ported it over to into like NCAA football.
Now, can I ask you a question? And I'm not blaming you for this, but every time we're in like an EA Sports game, whenever you like move around like the menus, it always seems like it has to connect to like the EA Sports servers before you do anything.
Between every screen.
Yeah, like was the EA servers, was that like hard to work with? Like when you were programming around that, was it just like, I don't understand why it would always like every time like you'd go into a menu and then you want to go back, it was like,
right, because he means like you'll
always
like
like
play a
lag.
multiplayer game, then you'll go back to the main screen and it'll stay connected to EA servers, even though it should just like go immediately. You know what I mean? Is that
just something you guys couldn't ever like work with?
Well, I guess to kind of give you like a good like overview of everything, like there's an office, I think one of the main offices and everything in I think Texas that actually handles all of the certain APIs and everything, and we have to use these APIs regardless or not.
Right.
So, you know, like I've worked on Madden Mobile as well. The Madden Mobile, like we had to wait for APIs to be finished from like the main office and stuff. So whatever they give us, you know, we pretty much have to work with. And it's a big company, and it's kind of really hard to control like what they're going to give you or whatnot. And they still use a lot of contractors as well.
Texas, where you got to wait for stuff to be finished. Where did you work? Where was the office located?
Yeah, well, you know, right now, you know, I'm actually currently in Orlando, Florida, and right by Orlando is Maitland.
That's my birth town, baby, Orlando, Florida.
Oh, I didn't know you was from Florida. That's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was only there till I was 2, but I've been back a million times because I have a ton of family there. You know, we actually lived in Altamont Springs, but Orlando was the hospital that I was born in.
Yeah, that's well, I live in Orlando, so and it's kind of weird because when things happen to EA, like there's a lot of people go like, oh, this is the same game every year. Like I wouldn't 100% say that all the time, because they take portions from games that have already been working and like merge it into like a new game. And they have to reskin the whole UI interface, which is definitely a pain in the ass. And you know, and EA is a big company, so you have all these little pockets all over the country and stuff like that. And by all means, I didn't work on you know, NHL at all. I worked on, you know, in Maitland office. They actually had like Madden and you know, NBA Live and I think the Tiger Woods golf and stuff. So those games right there is like the games they worked on. I think in Canada is when they actually have their own studio dedicated to like FIFA, and I think they actually work on you know, NHL.
Do they almost like just outsource within their own company to like different like EA pockets, I guess you want to like what you
yeah. I mean, they have a lot of automation tools and stuff, so I've always found that surprising. So you know, I will press a button and it'll automatically compile what I'm working on and push it to the Xbox tool, like, you know, development kit. Yeah. And you know, I get to test what I'm working on. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. But they've hired outside developers to develop some of those tools and stuff. A lot of the internal stuff, like before the next gen game consoles even came out, like the Xbox One and PS4, they had yellow tape up, and if you walk past this area, you're instantly fired. So like I couldn't even see.
Oh no shit!
I couldn't even see the game consoles and stuff.
I wonder how companies keep things super secret. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, whether it's Apple or something, because really, like, all it takes is one guy with a cell phone camera and leaks Halo 5, or you know what I'm saying?
Leaks and stuff. And by all means, EA paid me really good, and I got paid overtime and everything. So it's not like I was. If I was ready to rage quit, I would have leaked it online.
You have to sign like NDAs or anything like that?
What's that again?
Do you have to sign like non-disclosure stuff when you're working on a game?
No, actually, I didn't that time around. Surprisingly, I actually didn't have to sign anything. I mean, they do make sure you sign things where you don't put Easter eggs in the games and stuff like that. So I did sign some stuff, but
yeah, that's interesting. Like but your name like on like the seats or something in the crowd, you know.
Just draw.
Yeah, trust me, I've thought about it. You know, but I'm quite sure the reason why I had to sign something like that, because I'm quite sure there's a lot of developers who want to leave their mark.
Oh yeah, the old Mario games and stuff for Nintendo. There's like names and like I love yous and all sorts of stuff, you know, all over those games, because the developers would just get bored, you know, like have an hour to kill, they would just put their name in it, and they're like discovered like years later.
I would just draw like a penis or something.
That's what people were talking about. Like, you know, you zoom into the stadium cam and the kiss cam and just be a dick.
Yeah, that's some shit.
Like, I mean, awesome.
It's a girl, just a huge.
Oh yeah, you just zoom in, you know, like there's a cam shot of Tim Tebow, and it pans out to a big old dick, and I'm like, oh, there you go.
You score a touchdown, it like pans to like fireworks, and just one of them.
And the fireworks in the form of some titties or something. Hey,
That's like the
Let your imagination run wild.
is it the Little Mermaid or the Aladdin movie? I think it was the Little Mermaid. They actually sold the original cover art of the VHS.
Yeah.
One of the towers of the castle underwater was a dick.
Yeah,
like just no one ever noticed.
All those Disney things are cool.
Yeah, there's like
They always had little crazy things. I know, like even Aladdin, one's frame said like when Genie was like it was a puff of smoke or something, it said sex. Like they
right.
Disney did all these little weird things in there and stuff. I mean, and even now, the program I'm working with now at the current company I'm at, we're talking about Easter eggs and stuff. So we still haven't. I mean, of course, we don't have to worry about it now. But I work at a government job now, so it's pretty easy to we have a lot of free time. And since we both came from EA, we just blazed through stuff pretty fast.
Yeah,
right. So you guys are used to strict deadlines and stuff.
Oh yeah, we used to some crazy deadlines. So
you're not developing games anymore.
No. I'm actually working at a military contract like Lockheed Martin and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not working at Lockheed Martin, but I'm working at something kind of like that. It's like one of these big military contractors like Boeing and stuff. Orlando has that heavily in this area, so I have a lot of friends that work in this area that done that, and that's what I started off doing originally. But I left doing military contracting to go into like doing development games because when I was a kid, the moment that I realized that how you make games is programming is when I started programming. So I was programming from the age of like 13.
I was going to ask you kind of what your background was. Were you a computer science major, or did you more learn on your own? Because there's a lot of people that just pretty much teach themselves from a young age, and it sounds like you were doing it before you were even close to going to college.
That is actually true. So I mean, I've learned on my own. I started off with like Q Basic or something, and then I was doing C++ and C in high school, and then by the time I got out of high school, I got a job working for like my first like a military contractor, but I was kind of like an intern, and it just progressed from there. So
that's what's great.
But I never went to college for it.
Yeah, that's what's great about computer science. Like, as soon as you put something on the board, as soon as you make something, whether it's a game or a website, whatever, that's your resume. Nobody cares about what your major is. Nobody cares about what college you went to. Because I was actually a computer science major as well. I haven't really used it that much. But one thing that is interesting to me too is you work on the UI. UI UX. Yeah. I think people massively underrate how important that is. Like, that's one thing like only like a computer scientist understands. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can make or break an experience. And I think to some people they're like, okay, the interface, that's not that big of a deal, but it's a huge deal. Would you agree?
Yeah, it is. So, like navigating through stuff, like when I, for example, I worked in Madden mode, but it was like the way that we do swipes and everything. We would go back through and talk about it and stuff. The way that we did menus, the way that you buy things in the auction house. Even when I'm working on now, my job now, we're talking about using right-click menus and all this other crazy stuff. But yeah, I mean, we're just trying to make the experience pretty easy for people. And a lot of guys I work with, a lot of females, in fact, have psychology degrees because they want to make sure you're able to navigate through this stuff. So yeah, it is very important. I mean, I've seen games that look very awesome. They had the best UI in the world, but the game looked like shit, and vice versa.
Right.
You're trying to like use your experience points and buy things in RPGs and free online games, and it's just like hard to do that. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think people shouldn't take UI and UX development for granted.
Well, yeah, especially nowadays when we live in the world of apps. Like, I would take a well-written UI over like graphics in a game. Like, if you have
with touch input, it's very limited.
I would much rather have a prettier app than like some app.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we remember all like the Xbox 360, like when it first came out, it was dying and stuff. But people say, why do you use it? Because like it's good software. I mean, the interface and thing was really good. The same thing with the Xbox One. I mean, it's really good software compared to what I see on PS4. I mean, I have all the major platforms.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you what since you're a UI guy, what one do you like better?
Honestly, we'll probably say I like the Xbox One UI better.
Is it because
the Wii U actually it's very simplistic, but it still gets the job done. But I think that's because it's a very underpowered system compared to some of the major platforms. You have to press a button and it waits a little bit before you see the UI show up and stuff. But yeah, I think the Xbox One definitely has it. The PS4, they still like the sharing options and stuff are a lot easier to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the Xbox One, I mean, it's amazing how they have all these, you can attach, like, you can pin things to the side and all this other crazy stuff. But it was pretty good in the 360.
That was a brilliant. It's funny because like with UI, just seemingly the simplest idea, it can be a game changer. Like snapping apps, switching back and forth. That's a huge deal. Like I take that for granted now, but that makes, you know, we're playing Halo and snap the app, add M to the party, you know, snap TV to watch a show, pop right back into the game. But yeah, I agree. PS4 really just goes to like their interface is basically like get you into a game as fast as possible. But I think the reason the PS4 lags behind is, and there's a reason for it. Sony's really a hardware company, and Microsoft's really a software company. So Microsoft updates the shit out of Xbox One though, and PS4 lags behind. I think like I always tell people this is interesting. You'll enjoy this. Xbox 360 when it came out, Netflix was a DVD delivering service. There was no streaming. You know what I'm saying?
That's
you
right.
think about what the Xbox 360 was at the end. It was a media streaming platform, and it's amazing what they did from, you know, a basic gaming machine to a full media machine by the end of the console. So I'm interested to see what both of them do over the next, you know, 5 years or however long the generation lasts.
Yeah. I was even talking to one of my friends on you know, like one of my spin-off podcasts that I do and stuff like that as well. And we talked about, I had to point out to him that you look at the first generation of games stuff. You look at the first, you know, PS2 game, and they can barely even do anti-aliasing. And then at the very end, you see God of War 2, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And the same thing with like, you know, the Xbox One. You see like well, not the Xbox, the original Xbox. I keep getting it screwed up.
Right.
So you know, you see like the first generation
Xbox,
links and everything.
right.
Yeah.
You see Halo, and then next thing you know, you see like Halo 2, and the world difference that you see in those games are amazing. Like my brother still that to me, like my older brother when I was younger. It's like he reminded me that games can actually get better than what they were then. I was like, wow, I didn't know that can happen. But you know, now working on game consoles, I really realized that you can tweak down to like the little final like, you know, nuggets of the gaming console. And by all means, when I worked at EA, I've seen some of the most. I mean, there's guys that like, you know, that are like kind of like mediocre like me, but there's like the uber nerds that you know that when they make jokes about nerds about being in the basement, and those are the fucking guys, because those guys, I mean, fat plump nerds, sweaty as fuck.
You're talking about the Mountain Dew drinking,
Mountain Dew drinking, no pimples, no deodorant, talking about, you know, the cores inside the PS3 processor, and I was like, I can't handle that. I can't compete.
My senior project, and I strive to be one of those nerds, but I'm definitely not. But my senior project, I got to work on the cell processor before it was in the PS3, because my senior year was just before the PS3 came out. I got to work on an MRI machine. That being said, there was a guy from GE who really planned the whole thing, and I just kind of did what he told me to do. So I can't really compete. I did the writing of the software myself, but you know, I would have never thought of the idea.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. I never knew that.
Yeah,
it was actually learning some cool stuff about you. I mean, I guess you can kind of appreciate like what it takes to put inside of like what it takes to put a game together now. You know, I think I do appreciate indies a little bit more though.
Yeah, absolutely. A quick kind of segue.
Mm-hmm.
What you said you got into gaming when you were, or in gaming developing when you were 13. What games were you playing that got you into the game development? Like what was your you know, your jam when you were a little kid and up to now basically?
Yeah, well, it started off like well, I was playing like Nintendo and Atari. Like, I mean, I'm pretty old, so like I was playing like Atari and stuff like that, and then I was playing I think around the Nintendo era, like, you know, like Super Mario Brothers is when I realized, okay, you got to do programming to do this.
That's one of our favorites.
I mean, but I was still too young. By the time I really grasped it like around like my middle school era. So like but yeah, I mean, I was playing like a lot of Sega Genesis games and a lot of Super Nintendo games, stuff like that. I mean, and I'm mesmerized with what game consoles could do now. Like I look more like I'm not really mad at the Wii U for being underpowered, because I'm very happy to see, like, you know, Mario in HD. I'm very happy to see these games in HD and stuff like that.
Smash Brothers looks great.
It does.
Oh yeah, I mean, it runs in 60 frames a second, and it's 1080p. I mean, they didn't even do that with Mario Kart.
No.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, so like I can't hate on them for that. And I looked at all the specs and all the nerd things you can even fathom.
Can we just say something real quick? And I think you'll agree with this. I'm just going to combine all of mine and Adam's ideas, but we've been saying this forever. If first of all, Nintendo's so behind in the online platform, that's something that they need to improve by a lot. But outside of that, if they just came out with a $400 console or whatever the going price is, $500, whatever the next generation is, that beat Xbox and Sony on the specs, or at least was even, so that they could get the third parties back, get the Call of Duties, get the major games, the Destinies back. If they could do that and then have their first party software, it would win the console generation by far. And it's just so unintuitive that they keep releasing these cheap consoles that like I know the Wii was a massive success, but it was clearly like a one-time thing where like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so the point is they have the best first-party software by far. It's not even arguing.
I agree.
No argument. And like, why don't they just release a console that is easy to program for? You know, just like like the basically Xbox One and PS4 are basically just PCs now, and then release Zelda and everything in 1080p 60 frames a second and just rake in the money. Like I don't understand why they won't do it.
I feel
well, they don't have American presidents and everything and CEOs like everybody that have our mindset know that's the right thing to do. I mean, like Sujiro Iwata, like people was like hoping that he would get fired when the Wii U was like
he should have
losing in sales and stuff.
Yeah,
people were hoping for that. I mean, because we all know that's what we really want. We want did you know that Nintendo developers didn't even take a look at the Xbox 360 and PS3 online networking infrastructure when they started developing this stuff?
That's awesome that you mentioned that because I talked about that in several podcasts. I read that and it blew my mind. Like they would write them. They would say to Nintendo developers would be like, hey, this is how this works on 360 or PS3. We want it to work like that. And they would be like, we don't know how it works on 360 PS3. Will you like send us a more detailed email? And the developers like, what do you mean? You don't know what your competition is doing? like basic shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's like not even squirrel shit
stuff. You know, like it's like how do you not know? So like that's you actually just made a great point. That's what it is because we laugh too. Some of the marketing they do in the States. Yeah, they just had the Zelda release, and it's like two guys sitting on a couch, and it's really awkward, and the TV's very small, and it's just so not our culture. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's okay. Listen, I love it because they have that Japanese culture comes through in their games. The marketing is a joke.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying?
My thing is with them, they should have the gamepad should have been an accessory. It shouldn't have come. It should not come with it. It should not come with a console.
Obviously, they planned it to be.
I definitely agree with that too.
And they never used. Even they're not using it at all.
You make an awesome controller that Wii U Pro controller.
Yeah, I use the Pro controller a lot more than people can fathom. You know, like Bayonetta 1 and 2, and even Smash Brothers, I use the Pro controller over using the gamepad.
Why would you bother using the gamepad? You know, it's like it doesn't add any features really.
If they were smart, they could advertise, "Hey, we have an awesome virtual console. If you can't use your TV, you can pick up the gamepad and play all your games right there. Like, use that.
Right.
Don't sell that as like, because that controller sucks.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
It sucks.
I agree.
It's
not good for Smash Brothers. I can tell you that much.
No, it's terrible.
They're all terrible.
And it doesn't have good analogs. They feel old. And the screen was supposed to be, this is what happened with PS4 was supposed to have a touchscreen and the Steam controller. And you know why they got rid of it? Because they realized it's really expensive to put a touchscreen in your controller. And the gamepad's so big, it's low resolution.
It's tactile, right?
It's not even multi-touch. I don't think it's like.
It's not.
Yeah, it's just it's an unnecessary. Right, and what's crazy is Nintendo normally will take their peripherals and they'll just support the shit out of them. They don't care, and they don't support it at all.
You can't turn the screen off when you're playing, so the battery dies in 2 hours.
Eric, how about this? We got Smash Brothers. I brought my gamepad over because I have a Wii U too. And we're like, okay, well, at least we'll have two real, because we have a bunch of GameCube controllers, but we can't get the friggin' Wii U adapter for the GameCube because it doesn't.
You couldn't find it?
No, it's sold out everywhere.
Yeah, I ran into that too. Like, I've tried to find it, and even when it was on Amazon, that shit sold out like in 3 nanoseconds.
I'm not spending $90 on it. Fuck that. I'll wait for it. But
it was $19 actually at the time, but it keeps selling out.
Yeah. No, they're on Amazon they're upselling it in the marketplace, which is obnoxious.
That's all kinds of bullshittery.
Yeah, I refuse. But
go ahead.
I was gonna say I brought my gamepad over, and we're like, okay, well at least we'll have two fairly legitimate controllers, so neither of us have to use the nunchucks for my old Wii. And you can't sync two gamepads at the same time. That is fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't care. Like, I understand that it can't run the screen at the same time. I don't want the screen. I just want to be able to use the controller. You're gonna make me spend $50 on a gamepad Pro when I already have a game or whatever the controller.
It's fucking stupid.
That is crazy to me. That's crazy.
But let me ask this right: you can't actually go to the store and buy the Wii gamepad, right? So what happens when it breaks?
That's a good question.
You rage in playing Call of Duty Ghosts or whatever they have on the Wii U, and you throw it against the wall. And next thing you know, you don't have your Wii gamepad anymore. You can't buy a new one.
You probably have to. They probably have Nintendo.com. Probably has them or something. But that's a great point because back in the day, like Super Nintendo controllers, there's a reason that you could still find them. They were indestructible. Me and my brothers were trying to break them one day once we got like a new console. We're trying to break. Dude, we had to like put a sofa on it and jump on the sofa. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take a gamepad, you drop it from 2 feet, that thing's a goner.
Yeah, I mean, especially anything with a screen nowadays.
Right. Shit.
Nintendo's fucked unless they get their heads out of their
Well,
asses,
the good
they're fucked.
news is Nintendo is so ahead of the game as far as like they have like billions in cash, so they can still afford to release a new console. And everybody says like they hope that they just turn into a software company.
But no, I don't want that either because I mean,
They'll never fall on the sword and put their games on any other.
no, I don't think so. Not until they go bankrupt.
yeah. But the thing is this right here, like what Nintendo should do, and I've said this before too, like a couple of years in, release the Wii U 4K or something.
Yeah.
And a lot powerful, a lot better gaming console than what they got out right now.
They do that with their handhelds. Why not try it with your console?
It's true.
Every year you get an XL 3DS.
And you know what? Release it. The only reason that the Wii U is not $100 cheaper than the other consoles is guess what? The fucking gamepad. Because that thing probably costs like $80.
That's true.
If they got rid of that, which no one uses anyway,
no.
like the best use of it that I've gotten out of it, other than playing in the other, in the same room, which is another annoying thing. You really can't even use it in the other room. It barely reaches, depending.
Yeah.
But the only reason I ever use it is like Mario Kart has a map on it, but I can't really look down when I'm using it. You know what I'm saying?
The only time I ever
it really is a waste to me. Like I mean, I really wish it was something more, but they should have just stuck with like they should have came with like a Wii Motion Plus and with the Wii U, and that's it. A game,
right?
Like a pro game controller, and that would have been it. And I would have been perfectly content with that. I didn't buy the Xbox One when it came out because it came with the Kinect. And by all means, I heard you guys talk about it a lot. The Kinect is pretty awesome, from what I can tell.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to connect them because I was hearing about all the problems with people saying,
not a necessity. Yeah. It's not a necessity for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't really needed. I'm like, why do I need this? Right? Like, trust me. Like, even when I had a 360, the girl was like, I don't want to have sex with you in the living room, and that the camera's looking at me. so I had to go run off to the room somewhere.
When a girl says that to me, I'm like, you are absolutely right.
You're thinking to yourself, no, that's not recording. The webcam in the corner is
the one on the tripod with the blinking red light is.
The one that my friend's holding in the closet is though.
I just want to make sure, like, the moment the Xbox see me do that, I unlock an achievement, and it'll be amazing.
I
unlocked the achievement for watching Netflix on the Xbox One last night. I was like, I passed out watching, House MD. I'm like, oh, I got an achievement. Thank you.
Seriously, it makes you feel good about yourself.
Well, lately my Kinect's not even like my Xbox isn't turning off my TV when I say like Xbox off. It turns it on, but it won't turn it off.
Weird. Do you think maybe you have the wrong Sony?
No, I've had it for a year and it's worked fine.
You never changed it. That's weird. I don't
know. That's crazy. Yeah.
Bastard.
Well, yeah. So I skipped past the Xbox One because of the camera. Then the price came down. I understand that it's not as powerful as a PS4, but I mean, a lot of people made a good case for the software over hardware. So I was like, you know what? I'm really enjoying the games I'm playing on there right now. Yeah. So I'm pretty content.
As long as you know what it is and you're happy with it, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, and you listen to the podcast, you know that like we really don't have a preference. Like I own all three consoles. Like I really don't have a preference, but I always defend the Xbox just because so many people trash the Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Like, and one of the things is Xbox outsold PlayStation in November. And,
yeah, I saw that too.
Right, all the comments are, well, of course they slashed the price and they're giving away free games, all this stuff. But it's like, okay, well, PlayStation outsold Xbox because it was $100 cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of logic is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, no,
I don't think that was
that's true.
Part of it. So, and not to mention, this is basically, it's a rumor, but it's basically a fact because I've heard it from 100 different places. The PlayStation, and this is a great job by Sony. It's a great idea because they had their eye and they were going to sell the PS4 with the eye for $500. And as soon as Xbox announced that they were going to have $500 with the Kinect, they decided I can't compete with the Kinect. It's a much simpler thing. Let's get rid of the eye. Let's make it $400. And it was a genius move.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh, they like us more or something. It's like, no, it was a fucking marketing. They were going to sell for $500, you idiots. You know
they really was, and that's so true. That thing. I was watching E3, and when Sony said that, I was like, oh, you already got my money. I was already budgeting. I was already planning to eat ramen noodles for like a month because I knew I wanted to get it at that point. So. Like Sony knew what they were doing, and it's a good marketing tactic.
I bet.
Most consoles lose money on when they buy the gaming console. So
right.
I bet you the Microsoft people were so pissed after that E3.
Yeah, because they knew. And this is another thing that annoys me though, and another thing that we talk about all the time on the podcast, but I can't say it enough. Both consoles, no doubt in my mind, were supposed to come out this November, this past November, and they both were afraid that the other one would release it, and that's why Kinect integration wasn't ready, and that's why PS4 software was so simple, and that's why none of the games were ready. All of the games from this year pretty much were delayed till next year, And it's something I want to talk about on our year in review, but how sick would it have been if this November Xbox One launched with Kinect with proper integration, first of all, HBO Go and all that software stuff, Showtime on demand, all that stuff, but then also Halo Master Chief Collection, Sunset Overdrive, Titanfall, and then Sony would have launched with Infamous 2 or whatever, 3 and 2.
Infamous Second Son.
Infamous
This is a very good game, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the point is, I think that both of them scared each other into forcing these consoles out, and neither of them were ready.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I would have waited a lot longer, but I know it was the gaming industry as well that pushed them to put out new consoles and stuff. You know,
that's true.
There was, I mean, even John Carmack said himself. He's like my fucking nerd idol. But like John Carmack said himself, there was still power left inside the PS3 and Xbox 360 that was not even tapped yet. And by all means, I mean, it was already tapped out already as it is, but there were still some things left. I mean, and it lasts for a long time. They should have actually got the hardware, with better processors and better GPUs and stuff like that. Well, because they should have took a hit on the hardware like they normally do.
Absolutely.
So that way it would have been a lot better for them. Like in the long run, it would have lasted a lot. It would have been years. Right now they're tapping the hardware out to the max.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because back in the day, like with the PS3 is a perfect example. The cell processor, it was very hard to program for. So like the games went from pretty basic with a lot of glitches to like really good at the end of the console system when people figured it out. But now basically PS4 and Xbox One are just PCs. The architecture is very similar. Now, of course, you can still, because you know exactly what's in it, and as a programmer, I'm sure you can tell me.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But the thing is, like Intel and everybody already figured that out. There's already the frameworks. There's already the frameworks. There's already there's everything you need to know already about what they have in there is already been programmed for years and years on end when it comes to Intel and AMD and stuff like that, and even the drivers and stuff. I mean,
right.
So
they're going to build a little bit more out because it's the exact architecture every time, whereas a PC you have to deal with a bunch of variables. But it's not like the old systems where they're going to be like ridiculously better at the end of the generation.
It's not going to be like that. They pretty much. I'm telling you, already tapping out.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I mean, I'm telling this as a developer, and I'm even talking to other developers as well. I'm talking to my friends and stuff that even work with EA. They work at EA right now, and stuff. And they're telling me like, look, we're tapping out on what we got right now. You see some games on PS4 and Xbox One running at 30 hertz, 30 frames a second, because that's all they really can do. Have you seen the comparison from Uncharted 4, like on the E3 showing to like the live showing?
Yeah,
it's night and day difference. It was. I'm not saying it's ugly, but I mean it was what they had initially and what they showed. It's like the Killzone demo. They showed a video, the Killzone demo, and then it was like people were like, I like the video better.
Right. The Killzone demo, there's still not a game that looks that good. No. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I'm saying.
Maybe on PC.
Yeah. I mean PC could definitely probably do that right now in real time.
A similar note, just as a developer, if I said to you 1080p or 60 frames a second, what would you say?
I'd probably say 60 frames a second.
I would too, and it makes me so angry that everyone's clamoring for the 1080p. It's like the 1080p doesn't matter nearly as much. Now, if it's a slow-moving game that's like a strategy game, 60 frames a second doesn't matter. But if it's a shooter or an action game, 60 frames a second is way more important. It's not even close. I'd rather have a 720p 60 frames a second game.
I'm one of those people, I can't tell difference, so it doesn't fucking matter to me at all.
Yeah, I mean, certain TVs you can't tell regardless. So why would you even? That's the crazy thing about it.
And I have a really nice TV, so I don't. If it was 720p running on my 1080p TV, I wouldn't really.
It's really
especially in like a fast-paced game. There's too much shit going on. Maybe in like a slow-moving game, like a Skyrim or something, I might be able to tell. But like Halo, I'm not gonna be able to. I'm looking like, wow, that pixel looks funny.
Right, and Halo's a perfect example because when you're moving at 30 frames a second, it's hard to keep a lock on a guy because shit looks blurry. When you're 60 frames a second, it's a lot easier, you know.
Have you played the Master Chief Collection?
No, I have not. I've actually planned on buying it soon. In fact, because I mean, I've actually I dumped a lot of my money in getting the Xbox One, and I was so broke that I got an Xbox One, the Assassin's Creed bundle, and then I got Sunset Overdrive, but then I was so broke after that right there, and I was waiting. By all means, I was like super broke. I was still going on lunch every day with my coworkers and stuff. But I didn't want to buy Master Chief Collection until I knew I got paid again. So now that I got some money in my pockets,
we're totally, we love like playing. We play with all sorts of different levels of people. You know what I'm saying?
Now it actually works. So
yeah, it finally works.
And that's the thing that I was waiting for too. I was gonna get the Sunset Overdrive bundle, but I know that it was patching the shit out of Assassin's Creed Unity. So I was like, okay, now it's a lot better. You know,
Right.
You're not making out with some some ghouly face or whatever. Like so so like okay, like I figured I'd pick it up then.
yeah, that's a good deal. What was that? $349 for 2 games?
It was $330, and
Great deal.
I mean, oh my god, it was so amazing. Like I was so happy I waited.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if you have a PS4 or an Xbox One, but I'm just gonna use if you already have a PS4 because the Xbox One deals were so great. If you can get an Xbox One for $330 plus a game or two,
You're
like
a gamer.
get it. It's crazy not to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean it's going on through January too, so like why not get it? I mean,
Right.
but I'm just like I'm so like I mean I was so ready to just jump on it that I could have waited, but I couldn't wait. You know what I mean? If you're a gamer at this point, it's like
you're talking to
it's
two
one of
guys
those-
that know
it's like I'm
exactly.
not. It's kind of like why would you save yourself for marriage when you know you can get it right now?
Yeah, we can't wait. We knew Master Chief was broken for 3 weeks, and we tried every night.
Every night.
Just painful nights.
Because dude, we were so excited. Like Halo is one of the best sandbox games ever. Like we were so excited to play not only Slayer and all the really competitive stuff, but also just like mess around with Capture the Flag on Blood Gulch and whatever. Like it's so fun to bounce between the
And
different
it
games.
looks that game looks so
It
good.
looks they did
The
people
anniversary
forget-
edition looks like a Xbox One.
It does it. People
It's
forget
ridiculous looking.
how bad it looked. Someone made a great point. They go, when you think back to a game that you used to play, the
Yeah.
updated visuals in Xbox One Master Chief Collection look like what you think it looked like back in the day, but it's not even close. It used to look like shit, and now it looks really good because they updated it to 1080p.
When I look back on GoldenEye, I look back on GoldenEye in 1080p, 60 frames a second.
Right, exactly.
It's not like that, obviously.
And it was like using a dual analog controller with the
it's awful.
64 controller. That's the way it felt though.
Yeah,
And it's so fluid and everything.
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about Halo 2 Anniversary. I'm talking about the other ones.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like
I
the
get
regular
you.
ones.
And
Yeah.
Halo 1 looks great too.
Yeah, absolutely. Halo 1 actually, it looks like a decently graphic game, which it wasn't when it first came out. It looks more like a PC
And I do,
version.
by all means, like I do love like Halo, and I do love like the deathmatch and everything. I did, but like a lot of full-player split screen and stuff, and I did the same thing with like GoldenEye. I'm quite sure we all did, growing
absolutely.
up and stuff. So, like I'm like, but I knew about all the problems they were having, and I just didn't want to stick around for it. I mean, I was hearing the pain and suffering you guys were going through, and you guys ranting and raving on every podcast I was listening to about how like how much it sucked. But I was like, okay, well, as soon as like Adam them are all patched up and good, and then I get it.
Yeah, it's not perfect yet, but it's like we can play.
Yeah, you can play consistently.
and not have to be that
Yeah,
frustrated.
you can
Like,
actually
it works.
back out of a game and take your party with you.
Right,
for the
which
most
is
part.
fun sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I was waiting for the opportune moment for like a 12-year-old to call me, curse words and what I mean, and give me where I need to be. So
I feel like you could talk a lot of trash on these. Like on,
I do. Oh my God! I mean, you have no clue how much. Even when I played Gears, there's a story I used to tell people a lot. I was playing Gears of War, and this guy jumped in, and he was like calling me the N-word and everything, and he was just going off like crazy. And I wasn't even playing as Cole. I was playing as like Carmack or whatever.
Yeah.
So I switched to Cole, and then my rest of my team switched to Cole. And we, whenever I was killing him, I was saying like very like racial undertones and stuff. I said that wasn't blood, that was Kool-Aid. And then I said I sliced like a watermelon. And then he rage quit. And of course dropping a couple more slurs to me, and I was like, oh, okay, well,
you know what sucks?
we were all laughing. So
Right. You know what sucks about that? It's like obviously it's totally offensive and unacceptable. But it's like all it is it's small-minded people just saying whatever the easiest insult is. So like if you're black, it's the N-word. If you're a girl, it's calling you the C word. If it's you know what I'm trying to say? Like it's not even like I don't even think like these kids if they ever saw a black guy they'd probably run for the hills. But it's like it's just like they're so stupid they can't come up with original insults, so they have to go to like the easiest thing.
if I can rob the big old Call of Duty avatar in real life, I mean I would.
Yeah.
But but I mean it's not gonna happen. I mean we're playing a game. Everybody's anonymous. You know what I mean? It's a 12-year-old as Marcus Phoenix calling me the N-word. What more you want me to really do? I can't do too much about that. I just have to sit there and just just embrace that.
Yeah, that's good. I can't imagine what that's like.
Oh, that is good stuff.
And by all means, I mean, and I'm gonna tell it's for everybody on the podcast. My Xbox Live name is Black Daddy Nerd. So I'm black the moment I enter that game. Oh, you're already prepping your racial slurs from the get-go.
Yeah, right. God, yeah, you're gonna get them if you lose. God forbid if you win.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm in spectator mode. I'm already hearing it. I know what's going on.
Online gaming in general, and people say it's Xbox Live or people say it's PSN. It's just online gaming in general. It is like the most toxic environment that's ever existed. It's the weirdest thing. This whole anonymous, like, it's the same thing with YouTube comments or whatever. It's the most toxic. This idea of being anonymous on the internet. It's a really weird social thing that a lot of people have covered, but I'll never truly understand it. You know,
but you can't change that. You know what I mean? It's like me going to like a thread. There's like, you know, it's like me going to a PlayStation web forum and talking about how awesome Xbox One software is. Then they won't listen to me. They gonna call me Xbot. Then, you know what I mean? They can call me everything under the sun, and then it's like I'm gonna get blown out of the forum. You know, I'm gonna get banned.
You could write a 1,000-word comment that was like, you know, every point that you guys have said, this is my counter to it. I love gaming. Just hope you guys think it. And then people will be like, fuck you.
Like, you a black piece of shit. How dare you sit there talking about it? You have no clue. You are like a Sony fanboy. I'm like, oh, jeez. I'm just like, and I have every game console. Like, I mean.
It doesn't matter.
That's why we have a thing on our show, which we change the name of every week, but it's basically the most obnoxious comments we can find on the internet every week.
I love those, by the way.
Sometimes there's just too many to even like.
Right. I mean, I've said this before.
It's like,
GameSpot is the worst website on the fucking internet. It is filled with the biggest dummies I've ever seen in my entire life. But even IGN, Polygon, I mean, all of them are bad, but GameSpot is absolutely the worst.
Far the worst. Oh, they just breed hate.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do it on purpose. It's all clickbait bullshit, you know what I mean? Everybody's guilty of it, but GameSpot they don't even care. They don't even hide it. They're just like it could be Halo. For example, they said Halo 5 beta is in 720p. That was the entire headline. Then in the article, it's like, oh, by the way, 343 says it's going to be 1080p, 60 frames a second when it releases. But it wasn't 343 announces Halo 5 beta release date. It was Halo 5 beta 720p. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck?
Oh my God, I'm quite sure some of the fanboys call them X bones and everything.
Yeah, I like the X bitches.
X
bitches. I never heard that.
I want to be.
I've actually call my ex-girlfriend an X bitch now. I mean, you guys give me some wonderful intake, not on the gaming world, but just like things like the insults I can say to ex-girlfriends in general.
You start calling your ex-girlfriend a Sony pony, and she's like, what the fuck is that mean?
Pony. I actually stopped going to it was GameSpot.
GameSpot, yeah.
Yeah, I stopped going there when they fired one of their writers for giving a bad review.
Yeah.
The moment they done that, I know the guy went on, he started his own website and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're talking about Jeff Gerstmann, Giant Bomb?
Yeah, they fired him for giving a bad review to Kane and Lynch.
Yeah,
and
so that game's not good, but
it's not good. Yeah, so he gave a bad review. The company got up was it Ubisoft or EA?
Ubisoft.
Okay. Well, I'm good. I'm out of the clear there.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want now.
Because they would have told me. I would have got so much shit for that. I got shit for the fucking SimCity release, and I didn't have nothing to do with that project.
Yeah, that was a bad release.
I'm sending people games and everything from the gift shop to smooth things over.
My favorite part of the SimCity release was EA was like. And if you listen to the podcast, you know we bash EA a lot, but
I'm aware of it. I love it.
Yeah, they go. They said we can't possibly release this game without the online features. You have to be online. And then as soon as the game, it's not DRM. It's just we need it because of blah blah blah. And then as soon as the game released and it didn't work at all, a month later it worked without servers, no problem.
They did it for analytics reasons, you know what I mean? It was really stupid. They knew they didn't need it. Even I know, you know, my primary role I'm a web developer for the companies I work for and stuff. I know that you can program in offline functionality, and you guys know that as well. If gamers know, look, every other SimCity before this ran offline, why the fuck does this can't run offline?
Adam goes, I want to stop you there. I don't know.
Yeah, you're speaking Chinese.
Okay. So no, every game.
No, I hear you.
I'm sorry, I get super nerdy and shit like that.
Oh no, I'm with you.
It happens sometimes, you know what I mean? I seen a white girl drop her latte when she saw me speaking in nerd at the Starbucks. You know, it happens. It gets too deep sometimes.
She was a Sony pony.
She was a Sony pony. That's why she's the ex-girlfriend.
Oh, the best thing. Go back to the GameSpot thing. The best thing that ever happened was.
The GameSpot thing. I know that IGN said that they came out and said, "Look, our marketing department is different from my reviewer department, so we're not even meeting each other." You know, like okay. Yeah. They had but GameStop was like, okay, fire this guy right now. We're never advertising your site again, and they did.
I think it's so funny that they fired Jeff Gerstmann. He started Giant Bomb with I think it's Ryan Davis. The guy ended up dying recently.
I don't know.
But CBS owns GameStop. CBS bought Giant Bomb, so now they're back in the exact same office.
Giant Bomb, I would say, and I don't even go to Giant Bomb that often, but I do like Giant Bomb. But they're I would say like the most. How do I put this? Well respected.
Yeah.
Because they don't like. It's almost like our podcast, but like a huge deal. Yeah. Like they don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they just say what they mean, and because their roots are getting fired for.
Well, I had to start listening then because I didn't know there's other podcasts out there that just fucking like.
Well, I think do they have a podcast?
Yeah.
They do.
Giant Bombcast.
Yeah, because they also have like they don't have really any articles, right? It's all videos.
No, not really.
It's videos.
They'll review every now and then. It's just all video.
Yeah, and that's why I love them. One of the things that we talked about, like we wanted to talk about on this podcast, was. Yeah. We're going to talk about what we want to talk about. Like, we're not going to talk about a game that we don't give a shit about. You know, like, I don't care how big the game is.
When we first started this podcast, we'd get people to write in and be like, they would ask us, like, what we think about this, and we just write back, we haven't played that. And then we just never hear from them.
At least you're honest, you know.
Well, we're not going to buy every game.
We can't afford to buy every single game and play.
It's not our full-time job.
Full-time jobs.
It's two of you guys, yeah. I mean, like, you guys have a life, you know. I mean, I understand you probably have full-time jobs and stuff.
Yeah, we play what we play. I feel like we play enough that everybody else plays, but
yeah, I mean,
you want us to dig into Steam and play some.
We're not gonna review a lot of indie games unless we happen to play them and we love them. Then we'll review them, but we're not gonna play every game.
People will ask, we play Dota. People ask us about League, and we're like, I'm sure it's a great game.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
So I was gonna ask you guys. I hear you guys talk a lot about Dota and stuff like that. Are you guys gonna try Heroes of the Storm when it comes out, or?
Yeah, I will.
I think I would like to try it. It's just we talked about this I think last week, maybe the week before. It's hard because the reason that we love Dota, and the reason that we hate Dota, more love, but it's because it's so hardcore and it has such a steep learning curve that it's extremely rewarding to finally learn how to play and get good at it. Where the recent, like I feel like Heroes of the Storm is gonna be more like Hearthstone, where it's kind of a watered down version of Magic the Gathering, where it's like a watered down version of Dota. That means
the weird thing is, and I play a lot of Hearthstone, so like
I love Hearthstone. As you get older, you don't have the free time you used to.
Yeah, I mean, like trust me, I'll play a lot of Final Fantasy 11, and I played a lot of EverQuest and stuff like that. But like the one that really stuck with me was Final Fantasy 11. I mean, it was a console game and stuff like that. I mean, as long as they have a good, but I played Final Fantasy 11 like on the PS2. It was like. The sign up for that game was fucking god, it was horrible.
It was really bad, right?
Yeah, it was a piece of shit.
yeah. But, I heard about that one. That was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But once, like, my buddy was kind of like he was talking me through it. He's like, but once you get in, it's no big deal. You know, like I played World of Warcraft and everything. I got like level like 32, and then I stopped. And I was done. I mean, because it was just too simple for me. But you know, Hearthstone, I played that shit right there before I actually showed up for you guys' podcast. You know.
Yeah, I love Hearthstone, and that's a great point. You know, I love Hearthstone because I love Magic the Gathering, and you know, it's probably the nerdiest thing we've ever done. But it's a pain in the ass to play. Hearthstone's easy. I log on, I play, and I don't have enough free time now where I want to deal with, deck building with actual physical decks and storing them. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That being said, let's buy 2015.
We would just hang out. Oh.
Yeah, that was where we really started drinking like bourbon heavily.
That's when we had our lives.
we
had our midlife crisis at 28.
Yeah, we really did.
I love the amount of bourbon you guys drank over time. When you guys tweeted the amount of bourbon y'all drank, I was like, geez, I haven't even did that with Hennessy. I got to catch up. I mean, it's quite it's amazing feat.
That is not a joke. Like we have literally every single week for the last 4 weeks. We've bought we've shared a 175 of bourbon every single week. I don't think without. And I was saying to you, I'm actually starting to save them now. I think I have
mine are gone by Saturday night.
Yeah, I have 8 bottles in the basement, but we could have had 53 bottles of bourbon of makers, which would have. Well, we had a couple others in the mix, but I want to put a shelf around this podcast
we can
room.
Make a shelf out of bottles.
Maybe for you guys are on your second year now, right? So go on and do that right there. Do a year, and then you could probably recycle the bottles or something.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I'm really envious of that right there, because I know that I like to drink a lot, but you guys, I was like, oh, you guys take the fucking cake. I mean, you guys really.
I don't know if I'm proud of that, but
we do it for the.
I'm proud of it. I mean, you got an avid listener that's very proud of it. I drink with my friends.
I love to show my my detailed blood report from before this podcast and then after the podcast.
we should
liver test and my enzymes.
We should find an old breathalyzer machine. Blow into it.
That's actually a great idea.
If you breathalyze before and after the podcast, that'd be great.
Yeah,
that's actually a great idea. I've been tempted to buy one of those that hooks into your phone for so long.
There's been some podcasts where we've gotten really
toasted.
Well, because what my producer tells, he'll be like, Adam, never again.
Yeah, Chad one time goes, Adam, listen, you can't.
No, because trust me, the level of fucks you guys give, at the very end of the podcast is amazing.
We know. Well,
that's what I'm waiting for. Those are the juicy bits.
Yeah. We used to do all pre-production, starting drinking, and we used to drink almost a whole 175 by the end of the night. By the time we'd be 3 hours into drinking straight bourbon on the rocks. Yeah. By the time we finish the podcast, because we do 2 hours of pre-production, and then we'd do some shit in between.
Now we try not to drink too much before we go.
Now we try to have our first drink when we start the podcast.
And now since we do video, we don't really stop. We used to be
that is true. Yeah, I've noticed that about you guys.
We would take we'd go 15 minutes in. I need a bourbon.
We'd pause the podcast and
I used to love that about the old podcast. It was and we're back. I'm like, okay, cool.
Chad.
I was like, you took all the breaks you want and everything. We don't even let people know. The host of the main podcast I do and everything, he's a smoker, so he's like, I gotta have a smoke break.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, fuck. Well, but it's no big deal to me because we punch it in. Nobody knew until we told people.
Yeah,
right.
But you guys just let people know, which is awesome.
Well, we did it for a while. We can edit it out. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's just with the video, it's just a pain in the ass, though.
Yeah. I want you to do that. I love what you guys got going.
Yeah. Maybe we'll start doing. We'll start going we'll be right back. We'll just let it run and we'll just walk into the kitchen because you can see us. Well, what we do now is we just bring the bourbon in.
You should get a GoPro and just follow yourself to making a beverage.
Fantastic idea. I bought my girlfriend a GoPro, so I should bring it over.
We should just stick a GoPro right on the bottle.
Well,
yeah.
I told you about the video that it went viral. It was that stupid song. Oh Jesus, what was it? It was Fireball by the guy that looks like Nick.
Pitbull.
He had a song.
We have an Italian friend that looks like.
He looks
Pitbull.
Just like Pitbull, but what they did is it was a wedding, and they had a bottle of
Fireball,
Fireball,
I saw that.
and they had a GoPro attached to it, and
Everybody
it had the whole wedding
out
party taking swigs out of it, and it throughout the entire night, including the bride and the groom, and it was just awesome. They played his song, and it was. I'm gonna totally steal that for my wedding.
No, don't do it at your wedding. I was about to say, if somebody would do that eventually, you would see me in the bathroom, and you just see my dick pissing into the bottle.
You gotta spice that into the end like Fight Club.
Wait, how would that? Is there a GoPro Hubble telescope?
You'd see me dumping in roofies.
That's like.
Yeah, you gotta put little Bill Cosby gimmicks in the mix. You know what I mean?
That's fucking.
Have your sweater on when you do it.
Get the Jello pudding.
All right.
Yeah, Jello shots, everybody.
Jello pudding.
You know what's up?
No one made that. That's amazing. Oh, Jello pudding shots.
Pudding
in the middle. That's a great joke. Somebody's gonna steal that.
We have taken the 8bit Bourbon podcast farther than I think we've ever gone.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Next week, I think
we're all drunk. You know what I mean? We're all having a good time.
We still have to record. We still have to record another 30 minutes.
From now on, Jello pudding shots or Jello shots for the roofie.
I still want the roofie capsule to be in there still. I want you to see what you're getting into.
I used to tell my friends in school, and I've seen this since, but I swear to God I had never seen it before I said it. I said we should play roofie roulette, where we all get a shot glass of beer, 8 of us. We dissolve the roofie in one of them, mix them all up, take the shots, and then whoever gets the roofie, we have to piece their night together the next day.
Yeah, but now we better. We can stick a GoPro to them.
That's
Oh god, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, right. You could have like a sticker on the bottom, so you knew immediately, and then you say, shoot, it was me. Give me the camera.
Or you could do 2 stickers, and one of them's like a sugar pill. So two people think they have it, so you want to see if they both act like they're roofied. You can get a guy faking it.
That's a good point. Right, or you just do none of them. A random sticker on it.
Our friend Jay would be like, "Oh my god, I got the roofie."
Oh my god, I didn't mean to touch his dick.
He'd be out there begging.
I didn't mean that, gang. I've been roofied.
Jay would beg like a 50-year-old, like humongous girl, and he'd be like, "Holy shit, I don't remember anything." It's like, Jay, you didn't. We'd be like, Jay, not only
we put a
not only was that a Smartie or a whatever Tic Tac, that also wasn't real alcohol.
Yeah, give them a non-alcoholic beer. That's when they really get good.
All right, is this a video game podcast?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
All right, Eric,
I've been a comedian for 9 years, so like I just can't help the way I act sometimes. You gotta forgive me for that sometimes.
Let's end it on the Bill Cosby Jello shots.
Yeah, that was.
Tell people where they can find you, what you do.
Okay, yeah, well,
And you have a couple podcasts, right?
Yeah, I have 2 podcasts and everything. In fact, but definitely, I love you guys. I found you guys on Reddit, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
it's probably the best decision. I mean, that's like a video game podcast. Click, start listening. So, yeah. But you can find me on the Offensive Line. That's the name of the podcast and everything. It's not a football podcast. It is. We say anything goes. There's no holds barred to what we say. So that we drop N-bombs. We call people the F word. Because we have a gay guy and stuff like that, so
that's almost like our podcast.
Yeah, mine
it's pretty much like that. But
mine is all that stuff.
I mean, trust me, when I heard you guys' podcast, like, oh, this is such a great idea. I wish I would did 16-bit cognac or something, but I didn't think of it. The logo and everything. So yes, the Offensive Line is the main podcast. You can also find me on my podcast that I host myself called The Darkest Hour, where we kind of mix around, bounce around like on different topics and stuff like that. And I also have a comedian page, and I think comedian Erick Feiling. You can find me on Twitter, Erick_Feiling, ERICK_FEILING.
And do us a favor, send us those 3 Twitter handles in a message or whatever, and we'll put them in the show notes and all that stuff. Just so.
Oh, nice, awesome, thank you, man.
We'll tweet it out and all that stuff. But Eric, we gotta tell you, this is one of the best guest spots we've ever had.
My face hurts from laughing.
Yeah, you gotta. We have to make you a regular on the show. This is good.
I'll do that. Please do, man. I definitely want to get you guys on one of my podcasts when we got like the Tech Hour where I talk about one of my nerdy friends that work at EA. Oh, you guys can drill him about hockey and stuff like that all you want because he would be defenseless. And I'll join you guys too. I would fucking troll him as well. I think it'll be great. It'll be fantastic.
Eric, you've been fucking amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I mean, no, you guys are awesome too. Thanks for giving me the value entertainment that you guys give me from what you got going and calling other websites pieces of shit. I mean, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a fantastic podcast. If you was like, oh, I love GameSpot and IGN, I will stop listening to the first episode. You was on point, and you guys are drinking like crazy. Oh my god!
We're not afraid to tell anybody to fuck off.
I can't wait.
No, you gotta tell like it is.
I can't wait till EA sponsors us, and we're like, I just love NHL 14. It's just amazing.
Hey, I want to be on a commercial.
You have to check clears. I'll fucking say anything.
We will sell our bodies. We don't care.
We all horse for cash. I'm the moment that fucking they come in and slap our tits with money, we're fucking doing it.
Seriously,
we're gonna fucking do it. I'm saying it right now. I mean, and fucking EA did it the last time. I was like, I didn't even work. I was like, God, you guys using the same old technology and stuff. It's like, we're gonna pay you a lot of money. I was like, all right, well, I'm ready when I start.
All right.
I was like, all right, this is good stuff.
You're like, I fucking hate NCAA, and then they're like, well, we're gonna pay you X, Y, and Z, and you're like, wow, I love college football, so I'll give it a shot.
All of a sudden, I'll go Panthers. I don't even know if there's a team called the Panthers. By the way, I just said that because I know about the Black Panthers.
I'm pretty sure they don't make NCAA games anymore because of the lawsuit.
Yeah.
So you might have worked on
I was there during that part, in fact, So they were like, we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna still make it. They was gonna call it college football. But then they lost they lost the right to call people by their actual names and stuff.
Yep.
And that's when they decided to cancel it. And then one of my friends worked there. He was like, "Oh my God, it was a slaughterhouse at EA." I'm like, "Oh shit."
Oh, I guess that's true. They're gonna fire
people that worked there for like years was like pacing back and forth because they lost their job. You know, and there's a lot of people that
motherfuckers.
Oh my God, there's a lot of people that was used to the technology there. When they got laid off, there's like, oh my God, like programmers are like, oh my God, all I gotta do is like use EA technology and frameworks and stuff. I'm gonna be able to get another job, and they did. So they worked that fine.
See, so. we feed a few beers to Eric, and he tells us all the dirty secrets.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I'm whoring myself out for the industry. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, buddies.
Thanks, guys, for listening. This has been an awesome podcast. It's great having Eric on. We got to get him on.
Follow him on Twitter. He's fun.
Follow him on Twitter. We're gonna tweet that stuff out.
Line and
put that into our show notes as well.
Hours. What was it called?
The darkest hour. The darkest hours. Somebody said that in the last podcast too.
You should get some like Charlie Murphy sound bites in there for.
Oh yeah. I got. But we do a soundboard on the main podcast, but I haven't done soundboard.
The Chappelle Show. Eddie Murphy stories, or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Real Hollywood stories. Yeah, I think it was always told by.
Oh yeah, with Charlie Murphy. Yeah.
Charlie Murphy is one of the funniest dudes I've ever seen. Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, I love to feed y'all motherfuckers some pancakes.
We gotta get out of here. We're
gonna dunk on somebody.
All right.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming. You can find us 8bitbourbon@gmail.com, 8bitbourbon.com, 8bitbourbon on Twitter, Reddit/r/8bitbourbon, Facebook.com/8bitbourbon. Just 8bitbourbon, Google it. We're there. We have videos now, which we're going to have this one on there. So we have a video and a podcast every week. Podcast is on all the major ones, Stitcher, iTunes, all those, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that's it. I'm Andy.
I'm Adam.
Go ahead.
And I'm Black Man.
And we're 8bit Bourbon, baby.
Bye.
Did he meet?